Hello everybody and happy Sunday. So yeah, today we are doing, well, I want to say something a little bit different, but this is starting to become a slightly more common thing on the stream here. We are going to be doing more Godot development. So last week I worked through a Godot tutorial on stream and it was fun, it was interesting, and because I'd not used Godot very much before, it was a really good learning experience. There was a bunch of nice people in the chat helping out when I inevitably got stuck, and generally speaking people seemed to enjoy me doing that. So I mentioned in that stream that I had this prototype idea in my head that I wanted to do to test new engines to see which might fit. So long story short, I develop in Unity. I've developed in Unity for a long time. Obviously, a lot of people who develop in Unity are looking for new game environments, new game engines to use. So I want to do a small prototype, which, knowing me, will get stupidly complicated as it always does, but a small prototype where I can test Godot and perhaps another engine or two to see if it fits my style that I like working in. Last week we sort of had a little bit of an attempt at that, but this week we're going to start an entirely new prototype in Godot and spend 3 or 4 hours and kind of see where we end up, I suppose. All I've really done so far is start a new project here, and yeah, we're going to basically try and code some stuff, do some visuals, see what happens, I guess. As it's a new engine that I've used very little of, I have no idea how far we're going to get, but let's start with the basics of what am I actually wanting to make. So, I really like packing puzzles. If you're not aware, a packing puzzle is a puzzle where you kind of have like a frame of some kind, and then you have a bunch of shapes that you want to fit in that frame. And a while back, I designed a physical packing puzzle. I got it laser cut out of acrylic. And now, it's really hard, much too hard, but it had a couple of things in it I really liked. First of all, you could customize the difficulty because it had these special pieces that you could choose where they went. Depending where they were put, it made made it harder or easier to complete the puzzle. I also made it so basically, there was a bunch of different shapes and there were 3 different colours, and these 3 different coloured shapes, or 3 different colours of shapes, kind of fit together in such a way that there was a solution where you could put all the shapes in the frame without any of the colours touching. And I thought, yeah, it's nice to have it physical, and I've got a version of it, but I kind of wanted a digital version that I could play about with and basically just chill with. And because I find it very therapeutic, for whatever reason, just to kind of faff with these things. In the game I've currently been working on, CRT 7, I've got kind of a little packing puzzle in there, but I wanted just a place where you could kind of chill out, have some nice background music, and just fiddle with these things, and maybe slowly unlock a bunch of different solutions. Because there are a lot of solutions, even though it is really hard. So there's kind of 2 things I want to work on. The first is I want to work on, making this sort of packing-esque puzzle work in 3D. The second is I kind of want it to be quite vibes-based. And I want it to have this kind of feeling of being just kind of a nice room. If you've played the 51 games, like 51 worldwide games, I think it's called, from Nintendo, where you have these just like physical board games, but they're just quite nicely implemented in digital forms and they feel kind of simple and kind of chunky. I kind of want that vibe. I also really like this idea of having it so the room lighting changes depending what time you're playing it, and it will slowly change as you're playing it. So having like light coming in through a window and that gently moving. And the other reason I think that's fun is if I can get that working, it'll be a really good demonstration of Godot's 3D lighting and shadowing chops, which is one of the things I want to test. So, I guess you can think of it as being a game that's a packing puzzle, but in the sort of world of the lo-fi boy or lo-fi girl sorts of things. We're not going to get anywhere near that today, but I want to start prototyping and I want to start playing and I want to start kind of messing around. So, there's a couple of things to do first. If you're a developer, you will have code that you've been using for ages to do certain things. In my case, the code I've been using for ages are these easing scripts. And what I'll do is I'll copy them into my workspace and you can see it. The other thing is I'm really used to coming from Unity and using coroutines to do a lot of kind of easing and stuff. And I want to smooth the transition into Godot. I know it's got its own way of doing it, but I'm so used to thinking that style that I kind of want to ease this thing. But thankfully I found somebody who made a really nice C# coroutine replacement library that works really easily, links into Godot, really lovely, and all that. So, first things we're going to do is basically set up your environment with a bunch of new folders and stuff to get going. So if you've not used Godot before, this is the Godot interface. This maps to our hard drive. This is our scene graph. This is what we can see in our world. And this is the inspector where we'll do a bunch of stuff with nodes as we create them. But I always start off with a scripts folder and a materials folder. And I normally start off with a prefabs folder, but I guess we don't really have prefabs in Godot. It's all scenes, so I guess we'll have a scenes folder. And let's have a fonts folder as well, in case we grab a font later. Now, the other thing is, to install this nice coroutine library, I just open this. All we have to do, apparently, is we take this, copy this add-ons folder, paste it into our folder structure here. Cool, so it appears in here, and you can see we've got this. That stands for Godot More Efficient Coroutines, I think. The main thing is it's got this little file here. While we're here as well, in here I'll just put a subfolder. I tend to have things that I access kind of globally. And we will grab this from our desktop and put it in there. Cool. So, hopefully now I've hit the... where's the build thing gone? Oh yes, we might have to change it to say it's going to work with external tools. I forgot about that. Editor, Visual Studio, that's all set up. Building's all set up. I was expecting a build button up here, and I'm not sure how to get that now. Interesting. Okay, well, I guess this is part of the learning process. We'll figure that out as we go. I think if we now open this will open in Visual Studio. And yeah, I'll be doing this all in C# just because that's what I'm used to. And some of the code I've got previously is obviously all in C# as well. Oh, that didn't open. Unhelpful. Okay. Well, this is nice and early to find an issue. Okay, we don't have a solution folder in here. And in our previous one, I think we did. Was it how we did it in? Yeah, so we need to make this solution folder. And there is a way to, or this solution file, there is a way to do that. Let's Let's see if we can find it. Looks like Godot 4 set up with Visual Studio. Remember, this is something you sort of have to do each time. Okay, so we need to, not in here, we need to in here. Open a PowerShell. This apparently. See if this works. No. So what am I missing? Because we've not got that in here. That's probably why we don't have the build thing up here either, to be fair. Because it will be looking for the solution. Installed all that. Installed that. Okay, I wonder if it does it the first time we make something. So we're just going to make a really basic scene and attach a script in C# and see if that does what we want. That's fine, we'll just get that to create for now. See if that now opens. Okay, that's opened. Has that now given us our thing down here? It has. Okay, cool. So hopefully that now means if we close all this down. Yeah, there we go. We've got the build button up here, which means we can hit the build button. That should build all of our external things. And they'll all break because of Unity stuff. That's fine. If this now opens, perfect. So, if I remove that, and we will just comment those out for now. So what this file is, by the way, is a bunch of easing functions. So, if you don't know what easing functions are, we've got this thing here. Basically, one of the ways that I discovered really early on in game jams to make games feel a bit more polished was to not just linearly interpolate stuff, because that feels really wrong. You want things to sort of move a bit more naturally. I say discovered, this is like really traditional common animation stuff. But basically, there's all these traditional easing functions that you can kind of play with that makes movement and motion feel a bit nicer. So I just coded them all up in C# because they're really easy. I think you can even just go here and get them. I think these are JS ones. I think I converted them to C#. But basically it means now what I can do is I can put in a percentage. So, and it will then return kind of the movement through that percentage. So in other words, if you just pass in, 0.5 to say you're 50% of the way through this ease, it will just say the result is half. But if you do this and you want to do a quad ease, what will happen is it will return 0.5 times 0.5, which means although you're halfway through the time, you're only a quarter of the way through the movement. If we go back and look up here, easing quad, you'll see halfway through the time here is about a quarter of the way through the movement. And that's how you use these things. It's just a nice way to get them all a bit polished. I've also got some stuff here that does corrected lerping stuff in Unity. We're just going to comment that out. We don't need that today. I'll probably go fix that later. Let's hit build again. Cool. Okay, so that's all building. Great. So, let's move to the tool I prefer. All right, I guess the question is, where the heck do I start with this? And I guess I probably want a grey box or white box out a scene. Yeah, I haven't really planned exactly what I'm going to do with this. So I guess let's start making some stuff. The quickest way I think to sort of white box some stuff here is to add some child nodes to this. There we go. Don't want this script anymore. Let's clear that script. Delete that script from down there. That's nice. It got us the solution that we needed, so everything is good. So, a couple of things. The size of our packing field here is 10 by 10. Kind of this way and this way. And it'll probably make my life a lot easier if I keep it as 10 by 10. So maybe what I'll do is I'll start with that as kind of the element that will help us size everything else. Yeah, it'll be a bit weird that the pieces are each a meter by a meter, but yeah, it doesn't matter. We're not going to be using physics and stuff. So I guess let's add a child node, and we have a 3D mesh somewhere. Mesh instance 3D. And this allows us to kind of grey box straight in the editor, because I'm not going to be using Blender or anything today. So we want everything to kind of probably be box meshes to start off with, I guess. Click here, we can open the size. And now we want this to be 12 wide because we want a border all around it of 1 unit. We want the inside to be 10 by 10. So this should be 12 wide. And I'm going to do it for my own sanity that X and Y... Oh, how am I going to do this? Yeah, I think I'm going to do it so X and Y are on these two and Z is up. We might come to regret this later, but if we do, we can rotate stuff and it's not such a problem. I don't want it to be that thick, so let's thin it down a bit. Maybe a bit thicker than that. Okay, and can I just duplicate this? Perfect. And then if we close that, we should have its transform down here. And then we can push the position of this, I guess, up 6. Oh no, because that's up. Okay, fine. Fine, Godot. We will use yours, or I'm going to get confused. That can be top frame. This can be -6. And bottom frame. And then we basically want 2 of these again, except this time they will both be 10 because we don't want them to overlap, we just want them to fill in. And we need to rotate them, I guess 90 in that one? Yeah. And then 0, yeah, okay, 0, 0 for each of these. And then in the X, we want this to be -6 again. And we want this to be 6 that way. Okay, now I'm thinking about it, it's to the center points. That should probably be 11.5. Oh, no, not that one. It should be... So the width between them will only actually be 11. So can I do this? I can. Beautiful. Why, when I'm doing 11 divided by 2, that's getting me 5 meters. That's not right. Interesting. So the division is a bit odd. If I do 11 divided by 2.0, it does it right. Oh, I don't like that at all. Okay, cool. That's good to know. All right, but why is this not? So let's just dump in so we can lay this out properly. And we'll give it a cube again, a box. I just want to make sure, I just want to see how many of these we can fit to make sure we've got the correct. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's wrong. So this probably needs to come in. That will give us... Oh, no, I've messed up that with the locking for height control. So we can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units across. Oh, because this, we need to actually start at minus 0.5 because we don't have a central point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 should be right. So yeah, I was right before. And then if we use this one again, oh no, on the Z-axis, which I'm not going to be used to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lined up nicely. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So you can go away. This one and this one just need to be a bit longer. So these ones and this one I was going to say was going to be longer. Oh, no, I just actually didn't correctly increase the size of either. So those two both need to be 12. There we go, perfect. So that's the outline of our frame. I guess let's go and make a material. Oh, okay, that was more materials than I was expecting. Just standard material 3D. Cool. And we're not going to do anything super fancy with the materials just yet, because as you can see, oh boy, there are options. Now, where's this can be used to create mesh-based outlines using a second material pass and its coal mode to coal front. Okay, well, yeah, let's stop fiddling with all the complicated stuff I don't understand. What I want is to just give it a colour for now. Let's just make this sort of a dark, very dark grey. Give all of these a material. I guess that will I just drag it on? Are you happy with me doing that? Are apparently. Okay, cool. That did just point out that these are overlapping. Why are you overlapping? You're 12. You're 12. That's why these both should be 10. Oh, is it because it's using the same mesh instance? Oh, flip. Okay, I think that's what it is. I think that's why I was getting confused. That's good to know. So, because these are both using the same mesh instance, but if we just duplicate this, they're using the same mesh instance as well. So mesh instances in the graphics card, or meshes can be instanced to make the drawing quicker and easier. And I clearly didn't realize that. So I didn't realize that's what I was doing. So if we go back to here and define this mesh again, then what we can do is we can do 10, indeed 0.21, 0.2 there even, and 10 that way. Yeah, there we go. We can duplicate this one. And the left and right frames will use the same mesh. That's material overlay. I don't really know what the difference between those is just yet, but that's fine. Just experimenting for now. And the left frame can be minus 5.5. Oh, that's the AAB. Transform changed. That can be positive 5.5. Okay, cool. And they're not overlapping anymore. It's important they don't overlap because then you get issues when we texture this with the textures flickering and looking weird. Okay. Cool. So what do we need to do next? Yes. I want to put this in a table in some sort of scene. We can right click and we can click Save Branch as Scene. Can't save the read node branch as an instantiated scene. Okay. Can I not just save the whole thing as a scene from here, I guess? Okay, cool. Okay. Right, so that's now kind of a sub scene that we can instantiate whenever we like. So if we now go and start a new scene, it's up here, new scene. We still have this scene over here if we want it. All right. I guess we want another 3D scene. Now if we drag this scene in as a child, you'll see it now lives as a subset of this scene. I really probably should change that name. Hopefully when we drag that in now. Oh, I haven't saved that. What about now? There we go. Cool. So, as we know that this is kind of a thing we want sitting on a table, one of the things I guess to do now is just sort of mock up a little table for it to live on. All of this feels a little bit like we should be doing these all as separate prefabs. That seems to be how Godot likes stuff. So we'll keep this as a scale guide. Name this to puzzle table. And then we will start building a table, I guess. What we'll do is we'll duplicate this, call this wood color. And we'll just go and make this sort of brownish. A darkish brown, that should be fine. And then we will mock some stuff up again. Yeah, it's nice we're definitely going to be trying the text meshes today because they seem interesting. If I click here, you can literally down here just be like, hello stream. It actually makes the mesh off a font, which that's fun. Can I see that in the world actually? Where is that? If I give that material. Is it just really tiny, or it might just be really, really tiny to be fair. So let's make that 200. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's starting to appear. Well, that's apparently the biggest we can make it. Ha! Nice. Oh, that is fun. We are going to be using that option. Right, but not right now. Let's go back to a box mesh and let's, I guess, make it a big tabletop size. I want to probably pull this up just a little bit. Above the table. And so, oh, no, 10 is what we had previously, so I guess let's do 50 by 20. It's probably broadly okay. Okay, let's give that the material. Realize that material is way too bright. It's actually lit. Go to this one. Just feel it's easier to then knock the brightness down a little bit without affecting the hue. Cool, perfect. Okay. And then this tabletop, I want it to be too much. Actually, maybe we'll do 30 and then 60. How does that look? For now, we'll probably just do that size. We can always adjust these things later. All right. And then I guess what we want to do is give it some legs. And let's parent them. So when we do a cylinder mesh, when we move the top thing, all the legs will move with the table. That seems useful. And we open that up and give that a bit more height. 20 maybe? 15? Let's go with 15. Radial segments. The number of radial segments, high values, more detailed cylinder cone. We don't need them that high. Rings. Changing rings don't have any visual impact unless a shader or procedural mesh tool is used to alter. Not altering the vertex data, it should be kept to its default value. Cool, fine. Interesting. Are we allowed to just... Oh, we can use that to make cones. Okay, that's also a bonus. I like the fact they have made these things very flexible. All right, and then we want to transform this somewhere to the corners. About -7 point. This one even -7.5. Just make sure that is hitting the table. Oh, it's definitely going through the table. How thick was the table? 1 meter thick, so this should actually be down. I don't like by default you can't click on things in here. That boo. Like, yeah. I get that you've got the shortcuts in like the QWERTY keys up here, but it feels weird that you can't, when you've got a tool, just click directly on it. Okay, so that should then be -8 to fit properly, and we will override that material again. And then it's just a bit of playing to see where we think the legs would look good. Probably want them roughly. Oh. Away from the corners. Maybe something like that. Also, I want them a little bit thicker as well. Oh. No, don't move it. And we'll use the fact we can do cones as well, because might as well. And then we can just duplicate this. Because we want the same mesh for all of them. We just do the typical thing when you're doing stuff like this. Go to the transforms, and when it's oriented around the 0 point, you can just, I wanted to say reverse the polarity, but change the sign of things. Of course, if you remember which axis you're in. Cool, so that should now mean we just have something that looks vaguely table-y. Okay, cool. I do like that you can, I like that they've made it so all of these are more flexible. It's not just you are putting in a primitive, you can tweak all the primitives and do cones from cylinders and stuff like that. That's really nice. The other thing you can do with this that I noticed, which if you want to do old school stuff, if you want the radial segments to be kind of like triangular prisms, you can obviously set that to 3. And then you have, if I can figure out how to navigate this, a little triangle prism. Now, the only slight problem with this is it only goes down to 4, and the default shader is trying to smooth it, so it won't look perfect for those smaller ones. There is a prism mesh if you want to do triangular prisms as well, though. It has some fun options. Okay, so we've got, let's remove that from this scene. Yep, we have a table, we have a frame. The next thing, I guess, is we want to put together a really simple room to stick it all in. Hey VFig, thanks for joining us. I guess I should save the scene. Cool. Let's do a new scene. And we'll put the table into the scene. So you have an idea of scale. Yeah, then I just kind of want to do a nice, simple room, couple of walls, maybe 4, you know, we'll treat ourselves, and probably a roof, because what I want to do is I want to put a directional light outside, and I don't know if it's kind of that traditional anime Studio Ghibli look where you get this very distinct, crisp light pattern on the floor from a window. Even if we won't probably see the window in the game, I just kind of want that sort of look. So, ooh, am I going to be a bit... Oh, I probably shouldn't do this, because it's probably not going to be very efficient. But I think I am going to do this for some giggles. I kind of want to do a tiled floor pattern or something. Let's not do that straight away. Yeah, let's start with, I guess, another child node, a bunch of mocking up stuff. If we are doing a floor, I'm doing box mesh just in case, because I'm going to start rotating the directional light by time at some point. I don't want it to be able to point back up through the floor. Yep, and we'll just make this, you know, what size were we at? About 70 by, no, not that one. Oh, too late. 70 by 70. And then we want to, in its transform down here. It's so weird to me that transform isn't the first thing. I'm so used to it being the first thing. This can go down by about 10, about 15. I genuinely can't remember how many we said. $16 looks good. Man, the snapping an engine, real useful. The accidentally being able to move it a little bit every time I touch it, less useful. Yeah, I think this is the thing I find really weird, is you can click and drag like this, which I think is not useful. I just want to be able to grab the thing, grab the tools and drag it. Why not put the floor at 0? Yeah, that's a fair point, VFig. I guess because I'm thinking of the centre of the room broadly going to be at 0. Now, having said that, actually what it is it's because I want the puzzle frame to end up at 0. So everything else should actually pull off that. So we put the puzzle frame on the puzzle table. Yeah, the frame's inside it. So actually what I want to do is I want to move this whole puzzle table down. This whole thing down by a little bit. And if I save that and do that... Yeah, cool. Okay, so instead of that, I think it should probably be 0.1 actually. Oh no, because that's got thickness. Ah, come on, brain. So it'll be that, I think. No? All those ones where I should just calculate this. There. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Things are just going to be focused on the table. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you know how, as I do, origins in games don't ever really actually make sense. And the music is just some, it's a YouTube background. Chilled vibes and relaxing gaming music mix. Because it is Twitch safe. And when you're doing a lot of talking and you're not playing a game, it's nice to have some actual background music for the vibes. To be fair, it also quite well fits the vibes of what the game will be when we get to it. Alright. let's make the floor a little bit bigger. Say 80. That's clearly not big enough, brain. 120 by... Yeah, let's go with that for now. No. Let's go with that for now. Alright. Yeah, we're probably going to have to be careful about our shadow biases and distances and stuff at some point when we get into tweaking all that. As you can see, it's already starting to go away. But we're going to be probably quite close to it when we put the camera in. Right. Okay, now I've done that, let's close that back up. Let's call this... I don't know, let's call this, I guess, Puzzle Room. And we can hide those for now. What am I thinking of doing? Yeah, the floor's going to be very big, and I do quite like... doing a silly little thing. Give the floor more interest. Yeah, you know what? Stuff it. Let's do that. So if we add a child node as it's a node 3D instance, copy this, put that in here. And then for this, we are, instead of making it like this, we are going to make it 10 by 10, look. You can probably do bigger. Ah! It annoys me. In an early puzzle prototype you did, use separate lights for room versus when focusing on the puzzle so I could tune the shadow settings. Oh yeah, that's a nice idea. I'm actually thinking of eventually playing with global illumination and stuff like that, so that probably won't be such an issue. But yeah. Let's duplicate the puzzle frame. Oh no, what am I doing? No, duplicate the... Yeah, it's that one. Floor, tile, white. There, override that. As a child of that. Okay. Then we go to our material. Over here. Probably make that about... All of this will get tuned when I put the lighting in. It's just to get a rough idea. And then what we will do is we will put another one in. I might just for now use the same one as that. And then if we do this as -10, this one's +10. Then they're using the same mesh, so instead of a little trick, this to give them a little gap between them. Bigger gap. Cool. And then we duplicate these two and we move them 10, these -10. And then we need to swap these ones around. Cool. So basically there we have a single floor patch. And we can probably then sheet a little bit. Let's just put this as a floor stuff to keep it organised. Cool. And the nice thing we can then do is effectively then we can then build this up into a bigger thing. Delete that node, add in a node 3D again. Then in floor we can grab our floor patch. And what should work now, assuming I've got it correct, this should be minus 16.6. And then the floor patch can just go to be 0. Oh no, not you. You should be. No wait, you should be 0. Yeah, okay, cool. Oh, it's because I didn't save it here. Okay, now what we can do is we can basically duplicate a bunch of these. Do a similar thing to before, where we now go minus 20, plus 20, and then this whole lump can go minus 20. We can basically just really quickly mock up a tiled floor from this. It's not by any way the best way of doing this, obviously, because we're instantiating a bunch of quads, and this is something you can replicate with a single quad and some material stuff, but we're just laying things out at the moment, so fundamentally I don't really care. Those tiles are maybe a little big, but that is something we can always fiddle with later. Those tiles are definitely too big. Okay. That's fine. We can probably fix that relatively easily in here. Go to our mesh and we do just remove that. And then go to our transforms. Say it's minus 5, 5, 5, minus 5, minus 5. And then basically give them a parent, so we can then move this parent minus 10, and then we can duplicate this one, and then duplicate both of them. If we save this in here, that's better. That's a lot better. We then have our smaller tiles. Alrighty. Yeah, then I think we will take these two and extend it a bit more that way. That's not enough that way, is it? Okay. So it's minus 60 to go in that direction. Then we'll take this one and this one. Go to 60 in that direction. And then this one, this one, this one, this one. We'll duplicate and push that just in here, because we're going to put a back wall in anyway. Actually give us plenty of space to play with for now. Cool. So then we will stick in some walls, I guess. Well, I'm doing yeah, wait for CRT7. There is chess and packing puzzles intertwined in that, which is where I originally started doing this kind of flooring, because it made sense as part of the kind of the theme, the subtle nod to that what was going on. Alrighty. What do we need next? I guess we should put in some walls. So we put another one in here, centralized. Yeah, okay. So let's do kind of a simple wall just with a little bit of visual detail in it. We'll start off with our mesh instance 3D, put a box in it. And we will want this, how big are we? Which of these are... No, let's just cheat. Use our 2D. That looks about 180. Oh, no. Keep pressing save instead of what I want to press. 160. Lovely. Guess we are going to make the walls a bit thicker. Oh yeah, it's because Control A, instead of selecting a whole thing, is opening a new node, and that's Control A is so embedded into my workflow as a select all thing. That one I want to change, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Let's give the walls some thickness and some height. Probably not that much height. And we will need to hike that up in a second, but let's just move it back. Is that right? Or one back? One back. Okay. I guess let's move it up as well. Do us. Probably does need to be a little higher. Not that we're going to see this. So, no, I'm not going to fiddle about with wall thickness just now. Don't need to. Right, okay. So we've got this. We'll call this back wall. Then what I'm going to do is add another mesh instance, and we're going to do a little kind of detail along it. I think might be where our prism mesh comes in handy. Oh, that's fun. Ah, cool. Okay. So I wanted this to be, how big are you? 160. Let's just pull that out a little bit so we can see it. Which way around is it at the moment? Okay. That's not looking right. Let's give it a different material so it's easy to see. Let's give it the wood material quickly. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be actually like doing a prism. So I wonder what has gone wrong in that. I can actually give it the material properly there. That is not looking right. What have I done? Okay, well, for now, let's not use that one. Let's use... I don't know why I deleted it. I could have just changed it up here. Let's use a... Let's use a cylinder mesh. And then we'll give it a height of 160. And down here... down here... Nope, that's transform, not rotate, you silly Billy. I have to rotate it through Z, I guess. There we go. Then if we can pull this out, we can use this as sort of a rail along the wall, which is what I wanted to do. Just make this 2 by 2. And knock this down to something like 4 or 5. I guess 4 would look fine. Then if I give this the wood texture, well, yeah, so we're getting this as E fighting the edges. We don't really care about that right now. All right, and then we just knock this in a little so that lines up nicely to the wall. Cool. And we'll maybe just change this back wall so it's in 2 parts, which might be a bit fiddly, but we just want kind of something going around. Also, this is normally not exactly the middle either, but that doesn't matter. Let's make us another material. Oh. Not that one. That one. What are we going to call this? Let's call it wall upper. Can we do... Are we editing that one? We want to edit this one. Perfect. I wonder if we can like make it kind of slightly orangey. Might be a bit much. I mean, the classic one is to always go like the avocado walls, but I do that a lot. So let's try and find a different color. Looks all right. Okay. Cool. And then this, we then will make 80. Nope, not in that direction, in that direction. And then we'll have to fiddle with this in a second. We'll transform that down. lines up again. Cool. Nope, duplicate that, put that as a child, and then we just want to remove that one. Then transform this one back up. And then this needs to transform up, and we'll need a wall lower here as well. Yeah, and the wall upper have as something closer to white, like an off-white. Okay, and then we put that back down there. And then we grab this, move this up to where they are meeting. Bit. We'll probably do. Perfect. Don't like it. Don't like. I want. No, don't like that color. I think we need a warm color for what I'm thinking of. So make something a bit more orangey. Orangey. The orange does sort of have some issues with the table. Yeah. Let's go over slightly unnecessarily dramatic pink for now. Because once we've got the texture, once we've got the materials in, we can change them really easily. Okay. Now I've done all that, I basically want to put a window on each side. So depending which way the directional light is coming in, it will cast some shadows on. Oh. I mean, yeah, okay, fair enough. It is a little... It is a touch pokeball-y. It's worse when you make it actually red. Oh, well, not that yellow. That's a horrible yellow. But at least with how it's lit at the moment. I'm going to leave it orange for now. We'll come back to it. Especially when if we start playing with global illumination, the colour of all the surfaces is going to start casting stuff all over the place and doing things. So that'll be interesting. Okay. Add a child node, add a mesh 3D. Yeah, and I guess we'll go for a similar sort of process. Or will we? Yeah, in fact... I think one of the things... In fact, yeah, why don't I just cheat? Games are all about cheating. Games development in particular is all about cheating. So instead... Oh yeah. Move that up. Move that up. Move the whole thing down a little bit. Make that rail a little lower so we can then stick a window in the top if we need to. Oh, I mean, I don't know which GA I'm going to use yet. It looked like the voxely one might work the best for the small scene I'm doing. Yeah, okay, almost there. I think we just want this a little bigger. It's a bit more option putting windows in, because the windows really should go above the rail, I think. And then we can move the whole thing down a little. Oh, not the whole walls thing. This one. Cool. Let's go with that for now. Fun bit is if I hit play, we still won't actually see anything because I've still not put a camera or a light source in. We are getting there. It's always how I end up starting things. End up sort of defining a vibe before I get anywhere with actual code. Yeah, okay. So, oh, I could cheat it like that. Let's absolutely cheat it like that. Okay, so we duplicate this, and then with our transform, we're going to make it go back to 0, and we are going to rotate it. There we go. Now, what I was thinking about with the cheating... Oh, no, it's going to be minus 90. So our rail appears inside. What I'm thinking about with the cheating is I need to put a gap in for our window. And rather than remake all of this, what we can do, sort of a bit cheekily, is pull this. Oh, I've made two already. Okay, which one did I actually move there? That one, so let's get rid of that one. Yes. What we can do is we can have two of these and offset them. So we then have a little gap in the wall where you can stick a window in. Does Godot actually have the constructive and destructive geometry stuff? Because I'd be surprised. Okay, and then I think I'd be delighted, but I would be surprised. Oh no, they're in slightly the wrong place. Oh, so you need to probably... Better. Nope. That's the one. So that is 83. Perfect. Oh wow. I didn't know it had SVG nodes. That's interesting. Okay. I think we should probably at this point put in a wrapper node just for right wall. Give this that, so it goes over there, and take both of these, put them to 0, and then drag them over there. No, nah. Do you do the thing where you automatically figure stuff out? You do. Cool. OK. Deselect everything. Then we just want a really simple sort of window up in here. I guess the first things that we probably want to do is duplicate one of these again, delete the child elements. In fact, let's not do that because that will cause us loads of problems with scaling when we put textures and stuff on. So instead, back on this nonsense, and this was 160.55, so this can be you put the transform in. So you have moved that direction, you have moved some that direction. Cool. And then we want to give this that. Oh yes, this whole thing been rotated. I rotated them in here. Right, that's looking a bit weird. Rotate that, then this is going to cause me issues, isn't it? Yeah. Fine, we're just going to be fudgy. Because I can't be bothered to fix all that right now. Which means that actually needs to be 5. And let's give it a colour again. Wait, what? What's happened here? It looks like they've completely lost their texture somehow, so obviously done something dumb, but let's put it back. And then this is moved down -20. So this one needs to be moved down -20. That should be 50. Okay, there we go. Then if we move this across so it's roughly in the middle, figure stuff out. How wide this needs to be. 60 is too big. 50 is better, but we're not quite in the middle. Oh, okay. So that needs to be 53, and then we need this to be 0.5. Lovely. Okay. Window base. And then basically I just want to put like a cross to just give the shadowing when the light comes round. It's not going to be perfect, but people aren't really going to be looking at this. It's just for the vibes more than anything. So again, we are going to be using all of the cubes. It does something completely different when you drag it in there and when you drag it in there. Again, there's lots of slightly odd UI UX-y things in Godot that I'm not 100% on yet. And it's true of most interfaces that there's normally weird crap, but sort of a comes with the territory sort of thing. That's too thick. That's probably about right. Whoa. Lovely. Okay. Use this again. It's touching there. That's about right up there. This is something that we're not going to really see. I'm just going to cheat for now and do that. Interesting, that's not wide enough. Huh. Also, what I will actually do, thinking on it, is I will recess these a little bit into the window. And that way, when we increase the size of this to 55, that penetrates in 53. Yeah, perfect. All right. So then we've got this in, and this will just give us kind of hopefully the vibe I want. Again, I've never done this before, so it might turn out that this actually happens and I just end up hating how it looks. That is entirely both possible and likely. All right, let's duplicate that, do left wall, and -83, and 180 the whole thing. And I guess drag it over here to make it roughly symmetrical. In fact, I can probably, if we do this one, yeah. And that whole being able to jump into that view and do the clicking, snapping stuff, really nice. Okay. So, now, if we take this out, save this scene, and build a new scene that we're going to use to roughly lay stuff out and at least get a view into our scene. So, we want a puzzle room. We want a puzzle table. We want a puzzle frame. Because we've all made them relative to each other, they all drop in with the puzzle frame being the 0 origin. Being at the origin of 0, 0, 0. Which, trust me, will make our maths a lot easier later on. We'll save this scene as main scene for now. Now if we hit this and we select current, it will build all our non-existent C#, but then obviously you won't see anything because we don't have a camera. So, an XR camera, fun. We're not doing that. I want this at the top. I assume that's put it at 0, 0, 0. Yeah, cool. So, for now, let's put it over here. Oh, our camera's going to look really tiny, isn't it? Yeah. But now, at least if we press play, we should see something. Cool. We certainly see something. Obviously, it's not lit because we don't have a light, but this is our default. This must be our default, like, base light. I don't know how you fiddle with that, actually. So in lighting engines, because for the longest time we couldn't do reflections of light, it's very rare in reality that, you know, only the bit that the light hits is actually lit. It reflects off and makes the entire room light up a bit. So we've always faked this in 3D engines by just having a basic ambient light in. I guess that might be live in the environment. What happens if we make a new environment? Oh, yeah, there we go. You know about the convenient for quick scenes add editor environment to scene button. I do not. What? Where? In the view menu. If we put 0 there and we press play, does that mean it will just look entirely dark? Yeah, okay, cool. So this is our kind of our background color, or our background energy multiplier. Yeah, I don't see anything there saying add editor environment to scene though. Okay, so if we turn both those off, that gets to how we look by default, I think. Or maybe not. I see, this is actually the sort of thing I want to do. I want to play with the sun. Add sun to scene. Boop. I assume that means it's added it in the direction I had it.